10,000 years ago, in a crescent-shaped strip of fertile land stretching from modern Turkey to the Jordan Valley, a small group of people changed the world. They planted seeds. Here are the 7 crops they chose and why they remain unbeaten for nutrition. If ancient food wisdom connects with you, consider subscribing so you never miss a video like this. Number 7. Emmer wheat. Around 9,500 BCE, farming communities in the Fertile Crescent began selecting a wild grass with fat, easy-to-thresh kernels and turning it into a reliable food source. They called it emmer. The rest of the world eventually called it farro. Emmer contains 28 chromosomes, half the genetic complexity of modern bread wheat, which has 42. That simpler structure produces a grain higher in protein and richer in magnesium, selenium, and niacin than the wheat most Americans eat today. It is lower in the gluten proteins that cause digestive difficulties for so many people. Farmers in the Fertile Crescent didn't know any of this. They knew emmer grew reliably, stored well, and fed families through winter. It turns out they stumbled onto something nutritionally exceptional, and it is still on grocery store shelves today, sold as farro, one of the oldest surviving cultivated foods on Earth. Number 6. Einkorn wheat. 14 chromosomes. That is the entire genetic complexity of einkorn, the single most ancient wheat species still consumed by humans, domesticated in the Fertile Crescent more than 10,000 years ago. Modern bread wheat has 42. The reduction in complexity that came from centuries of hybridization gave modern wheat better yield. It also gave it more gluten, less gluten, and a nutritional profile researchers now describe as inferior to its ancestor. Einkorn contains higher concentrations of lutein, a carotenoid antioxidant associated with eye and cardiovascular protection, than any modern wheat variety tested in comparative studies. It is richer in protein and amino acids. It is the wheat that fed the civilization that built the first cities, ground between stones in the earliest known mills, stored in clay jars in the houses of the first farmers. Researchers at universities across Europe have confirmed what those early farmers apparently already knew. This grain was worth domesticating. Drop a comment and let us know which of these ancient crops have you tried, and where are you watching from today. Number 5. Barley. The FDA formally approved a heart health claim for barley's signature compound, beta-glucan, based on its demonstrated ability to lower LDL cholesterol in human adults. 3 grams of barley beta-glucan daily. The amount in 1.5 cups of cooked barley is the clinically established dose associated with reductions in LDL cholesterol of around 5 to 8% in published trials. Barley was the grain of ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Athletes at the original Olympic Games trained on it. Roman gladiators were called hordearii, barley eaters, because it was their primary food. Domesticated in the Fertile Crescent around 10,000 years ago, barley outlasted every empire that relied on it. Beta-glucan also acts as a prebiotic, feeding beneficial gut bacteria in ways that oats cannot fully replicate. For an ingredient this old, the clinical validation is surprisingly recent, and the results keep improving. Number 4. Lentils. In the valley of the Euphrates River, at a site called Jerf el Amar in modern Syria, archaeologists uncovered lentil seeds in soil layers dating back nearly 10,000 years. They were the same seeds we buy at the grocery store today, essentially unchanged, still producing the same nutrition they fed to the first settled farming communities in human history. 100 grams of cooked lentils contain 25 grams of protein. A single serving delivers nearly a third of the daily fiber requirement. They are among the richest plant sources of folate, iron, magnesium, and zinc available to the human diet, and they require no soaking, cook in 30 minutes, and cost less than almost any other protein source on supermarket shelves. The Blue Zones Project, which studies the world's longest-lived populations, consistently identifies legumes like lentils as a dietary cornerstone. 10,000 years of continuous human reliance on a single food is its own kind of clinical trial. Number 3. Chickpeas. The second largest source of plant protein on the planet, currently supplying more than 20% of the world's dietary protein. Archaeological digs at sites in southeastern Turkey and northern Syria have placed chickpea cultivation at approximately 10,000 years ago, alongside wheat and barley, as part of the original founding package of human agriculture. 1 cup of chickpeas provides more than 20% of the daily value of protein, fiber, folate, iron, and phosphorus simultaneously. The carbohydrates in chickpeas are complex and slowly digested, producing a low glycemic response that keeps blood sugar stable for hours after eating. From the Fertile Crescent, they spread to Greece and Egypt by 5,500 BCE and to India by 300 BCE, carried by traders who understood their value before nutritional science existed to explain it. Today, hummus, the chickpea preparation that has existed in some form since antiquity, is one of the most widely consumed foods on Earth. There may be no better argument for the staying power of something genuinely nutritious. Number 2. Peas. Ancient Troy, Bronze Age Switzerland, Neolithic Turkey. Across 8,000 years of archaeological digs, in layer after layer of human settlement, the same small round seed keeps appearing, persistent, reliable, unchanged. A quarter cup of dry split peas delivers 13 grams of dietary fiber, 52% of daily requirements. In one serving, peas contain vitamins C, A, K, folate, manganese, iron, zinc, and magnesium, a nutritional range that rivals many multi-supplements. Gregor Mendel used peas for his landmark genetics experiments in the 19th century precisely because of their observable, consistent genetic diversity. Through every famine, every siege, every failed harvest in medieval Europe, peas kept people alive. They grew in poor soil, fixed nitrogen in the ground for the next crop, and fed both humans and livestock. The scientists at Kiel University recently called their protein contribution to ancient diets greatly undervalued. 10,000 years after the first farmer pressed a pea seed into the soil of the Fertile Crescent, nutritional science is just now catching up to what worked all along. Number 1. Flax. Hidden inside every Egyptian mummy wrapping, every Roman sail, every medieval linen garment was the fiber of the same plant that now sits in health food stores labeled as a superfood, flax. Linum usitatissimum, Latin for most useful. Domesticated in the Fertile Crescent, around 8,500 years ago, the only Neolithic founder crop grown as much for its fibers as for its seeds. Flaxseed is the richest plant source of lignans of any food on Earth, and a top source of alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. 30 grams daily for 12 weeks has been shown in clinical trials to produce measurable reductions in blood pressure, LDL cholesterol, body weight, and inflammation. It survived 10,000 years of agricultural history as both fabric and food. That combination of usefulness, versatility, and nutritional density is as close to a perfect ancient crop as anything humans ever planted.